Hi.
Hey, listen! Watch out!
So I've been wanting to make a wooden version of the Ocarina of Time for a long time now. Now, I've made the Ocarina of Time once before, technically 3 times before, 2 of which don't really count. I only have one of the examples with me that I made from glazed terracotta back in high school. This I was testing out the different glazes on. So as you can see, it's like a dummy proof of concept. Of course, it still works, but not very well. It's kind of airy. I can't really show you the good version of this that I made after that actually works pretty well, because I originally made that for my ex as a present because she was super into Legend of Zelda. So it's kind of a trade-off. She gets to keep that, but I get a new cool interest in Legend of Zelda that I didn't really know much about before I started working on this. So what we're gonna do, because I don't have a kiln now that I'm not in high school art class, I'm gonna make it out of wood, which I've attempted before but never finished because I lacked the carving skills for it. But it's been years, baby, and we've got newfound knowledge, which we are going to pour into a lovely new ocarina. And now with Tears of the Kingdom coming out so soon, it has renewed my interest in making this sucker. So we've got to go from a board of poplar like this and turn it into this, which there's a few steps in between. So
Let's do it.
yeah, it's about right. Wait, what was it? What? You're saying that if I want to make a functioning ocarina that sounds good, that I am not going to be able to make a one-to-one replica of the Ocarina of Time? Pardon me? Excuse me? What? What? Alright, so let's set this straight. Now from the front, the Ocarina of Time shape looks great. But for some reason they put the mouthpiece directly in the middle, which we're gonna have to alter a little bit. Whenever you're blowing into an ocarina, you want it to be down one side so that half of the air goes in while the other half goes out. That creates suction in opposite directions, which causes vibration and sound. So we're gonna have to widen the mouthpiece at the base and shorten the chamber so that we can angle that airflow back. And hopefully that'll work. I don't really have a printer, so I just scaled up the image on my iPad to the right size and trace it. And it turns out, after I drew all this out, the width of the ocarina is exactly 4 times the size of this poplar board. So we're gonna do this in layers. Ooh, baby. No room for error. I love to tempt fate. That took a long time. As you can see, I sketched out what I needed to remove as well as what I needed to keep on each side there, as well as each layer on each side individually. And to get it all accurate was really tedious and very boring to watch. So let's get to the fun part, which is carving. First cut is always the most intimidating. Oh, it's a little dirty. We're procrastinating. Let's do this. Oh, I hit my thumb. Oh. Shit, this is gonna be easy. It's nearly there, so I think I need to go with a bit of a softer approach to get the fine details and make it as smooth as possible. For that, I got these burrs. I tested this one out, so it's all nasty. This whole pack was like $5.
A really cool feature of this drill is actually that it sparks when you use it. Yes, this will do nicely.
Okay, so I got this little ball thing. I think it's for metal, but I thought it was neat, and I think it will be very good for getting in all of this. That looks pretty good, and I was able to do that pretty quick, actually. On to layer 2. Yeah, 2. Oh, shit. Oopsie. was a dumb idea. This looks really dangerous. It probably is. Am I doing this wrong? Oh, still, damn it. There we go. Okay. There we go. It's still not all the way to the edge, because I'm a pussy. More like I'm just inaccurate, so I've got to ease up to it. But hey. I think I'm just gonna do this bit first. But time for another time. Yeah, so that's done now. Let's get right into the next one. Number 3 only has a small area that I actually have to carve. The rest, I'm just gonna chop out, so let's do that. How is this attack? Oh. There we go. This is essentially like the transition piece, so I'm going to have to change a lot with the edges anyway, so I'll leave it rough just so I can go in and finesse it later. On to the next one. So down to the last one and the most vital piece. This has the air channel as well as the voicing hole, so I have to be super precise with it. Whoa, that bit is bent. What did I do? That was stupid. Luckily that is literally at the very edge of the ocarina. Voila. Here's the benefit of working in layers, people. You can see I need to take down on this lip here, so I can just smooth out all this, and it'll have a perfect transition, and I can just have it clamped, move on to the next layer. It's so cool. Wow. One thing I am worried about in Tears of the Kingdom is that it kind of looks like Breath of the Wild DLC. Like, it doesn't look too dissimilar from the first game, and I hope it's really different. But then again, the whole part where you can stick a large rock onto the end of a broom handle and then hit people with it, that's enough for me to buy the game. So it's finally time to start lining the holes on these things. I am terrified. So now we need to just hog out this material here and smooth the transition between the two blocks. Now I need to turn this into a teardrop shape with the point being right about here. What I'm actually going to be doing is carving out the opposite side of the voicing hole, just so it'll be easier for me to carve that little teardrop shape. So we can actually put them all together and see if it makes a noise. So now that a lot of the material is taken out, it's going to be a lot easier to carve that teardrop into shape, which we are going to do now. It's hard to describe, but the shape of the hole here actually makes the tone of the ocarina, so it kind of makes it a more pure versus raspy tone. The teardrop is the most common one used in ocarinas, and it produces the most pure from the tests that I saw online. So I've been fiddling with this for a bit now. At this point, it should be making a tone. I have them all put together, and the inside is dug out. It's even got the little apparatus, but I'm losing some confidence because you have to put in the slightest amount of air for it to whistle, but anything above that will not. This is gonna look goofy as hell, but bear with me. See, I don't even know if you can hear that from there. Hold on. Isn't this a pretty angle? Hopefully you can hear from there, so. See? So it's like, why are you crying? Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna do like a couple hours of research or something and see if I can change anything. Or if I'm going to have to scrap a couple layers of this. We have returned with newfound knowledge. Bitches, it got better. I was going off the misconception that a smaller voicing hole meant a more pure note.
That's stupid.
You're supposed to size the voicing hole to your ocarina. And I don't know if you can tell, but that is essentially double the size it used to be. Now, proof is in the pudding. You remember what it sounded like? Zelda who?
That would be me. That ocarina is trash. So to her, motherfucker.
And this isn't even the best that it's gonna sound, because I haven't even smoothed out the inside yet. This project is saved. I was thinking we were actually gonna have to redo it. So it's finally time to start gluing these layers together, and I'm gonna be doing them one by one and fill in any gaps as they may come with this wood filler. But you may notice that after the last layer is on, I won't be able to fill in the last gap. So I have already done that. So they're as close as they're feasibly going to be when we glue them back together eventually. Just in case, just in case, just in case. Yes. Now you stay right there, you little bastard, or else I'm a... Wait, hold on, how do you do this? There we go.
One Mayfly lifespan later.
Yeah, the first one didn't need a whole lot of sanding, so on to round two. Ugh. I didn't like that. Or maybe I did. I sound like No Face from Spirited Away. Doesn't sound like No Face, that just sounds gross. Ooh, sticky. I wonder why. I'm slipping. Stop. Stupid. Ooh, we're gonna use a big clamp for the bottom. And then we're gonna use two. Oh, I can't use these clamps anymore. No. No, it's too big. It's too big. Here you can see where all I've gotten in the cracks, but I'm also gonna have to get all the way up in there, which is gonna be a little bit rough. It's been about 5 hours, so I can probably unclamp it. But in that time, I also organized all my tools and stuff. My pinky can't reach all the way to the end, so I'm gonna use this little stick instead. And then I'm gonna just... Yeah. This is tedious. It looks to be working. More glue. Clamp, clamp, clamp. Hey. Sooie, that there's one real solidly glued cube. So as you can see, this looks more like a block of wood than an ocarina. So what I'm going to have to do is take it over to the bandsaw. My saw is only tall enough to cut out this shape here, not this one or this one, because I'd have to stand it up like this or this to cut it. Luckily, the majority of the work will be taken out on this side. We're just gonna clamp this up and start carving on it. Ooh. Okay. fitten. We got 2 halves sort of close to where we need them to be, so we're gonna do these corners now. One of the easiest things for the human eye to detect is that something is a perfect circle, and the super small details you can also just feel with your hands. It's like making a snowball. You know exactly the high spots and what needs to be packed down more. I'm real tired. Because I know that all of this is going to be taken off, I can beat it the hell up. It's a little bit wider than I want it to be, so I'm going to shape that down a little bit. And I gotta cut out that part for the mouthpiece so I can actually round this over here. But just make sure it still works. But you might be thinking, that's a little bit low, isn't it? But if you think about it, if you're rotating this up, it does reach the top there. So it was actually the accurate length of the, I keep forgetting the name for it. The mouthpiece. The mouthpiece. Okay, let's cut it up. What's a Charlie horse in your hand called? Now that we are sort of close to the right shape, we can start using finer grits and start getting it like more refined. It is pretty smooth. I still have to carve in the little decorative piece that's right here. Before we do the rest of the sanding, let's move on to that. Holding it while carving was pretty cumbersome and impossible, and I almost hit my jugular a few times, so I'm gonna use this little needle file to do the job, because honestly, it's gonna do it just as well. So, the collar is done. Now, we're gonna carve in the little stuff. So this may be semantics here, but the design for the Ocarina of Time that I've been using this whole time was technically from the Smash Bros. Game. On the Smash Bros. Version, it has little swirlies on the left and right, but in Majora's Mask and the Ocarina of Time game itself, it does not have those little swirlies. It's probably more accurate to the today's standard of the Ocarina of Time. As for the accuracy of the Ocarina of Time in the older games, this is all that there would be. And also sometimes there's beauty in simplicity, so I'm gonna go ahead and carve this out, and if we want to add it later, it's never too late. Fellas, as you can see, I got a new workbench, and just in time for me to put in the voicing holes. So the layout is pretty simple. It's 4 holes here and 3 right here. Now none of that. Whoa. What are you doing? What? Wait, so in the game, the holes were meant to mimic a D-pad and not an actual ocarina? and actually playing it would mean that you would have to place one finger over 2 holes and not 4. Oh wait, how even would you? You can't. Okay, I guess the sound and playability of a musical instrument is probably important, but... Okay, so what is it even going to look like? The Ocarina of Time only has 7 holes, so to be able to play the songs that we want, we're gonna have to add a couple more. A more traditional ocarina has 10 holes, 8 on the front and 2 on the back. Most ocarinas have their holes positioned to be comfortable for your fingers to be able to play in descending order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this feels the most natural, and it looks like it shows up the most on the front. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm just going to hold it up to the camera here, and then I'm just going to pause the video and draw it out where the hole should be. Ooh, here I need to draw this one in a little bit darker so y'all can actually see it. First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and 8th. That looks good to me. Howdy. I'm back from doing a little bit of research, and it turns out that most ocarinas are actually set to a C scale, and to find out mine, I downloaded this little tuner app. My ocarina is in F4. So what we're gonna have to do is go up the scale, but starting at a different place. So we're gonna go from F, and then 2 more, G, A. All that means is that with each hole that we drill, we're gonna go up a consecutive note. And we're also gonna have the 2 holes on the back. I forgot to plug in the drum. Doing that dims the light. They're plugged into the same socket. Yeah, I figured it'd be too small to notice at first anyway, so we're gonna move on to the next bit. You can tell. I have to be really soft with the F. Do I want to do an F sharp scale? Is that normal? I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, I've come to the conclusion that... Why do I keep saying conclusion? I've come to the conclusion that I need to change this. If I put a natural amount of air into it, it comes out as F sharp. The kicker here is that, do I want the entire thing to be in a sharp scale? Then I wouldn't be able to play the very simple Zelda melodies that I want to. So like, what I think I'm going to do is put what's known as tuning holes in here and move it up a note. So I'll just have my ocarina start at G and then go up the scale from there. I think. There. Alright, so let's remove this and see if it actually jumps up to anything. Probably won't. If anything, it'll go up to G sharp. Yeah. We just hit a low A. So the only problem is that this next drill bit is way too high of a step. So I think it might actually up the note and be too high. It's too late to go to the store to get more. Good night, fellas. I'm back, and we're ballin', baby. I got these bits from Harbor Freight for like 20 bucks, and it is every size I could possibly need. On to the next hole. And that's the next hole. Because I'm sure you don't really need to see the exact same process for each and every hole. I'm going to go ahead and do you and I a favor and cut to where all the holes on the right hand are finished. Now, we're going to utilize this little sanding ball thing again to round out the little corners on each of these holes to make it look a little bit nicer. I also got this little cute one too. Isn't it cute? That's pretty. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Ooh, that's really hot. Let's do the final 4, and I'll meet you back. So, we're inside right now. Those are my dirty dishes. It is 97 degrees outside, so I don't really need to be in the garage for this next part because we finished the holes, guys. Looky there, it's all pretty. Now, I want this ocarina to be blue, but I still want to show off the grain in the wood. And I think we can accomplish that with this stuff I made. I'm using an alcohol ink and denatured alcohol to thin it down. Hopefully, this will work. I am a little scared, but we're gonna do it. It's gonna look pretty greenish at first, just because the natural color of the wood doesn't really mix well with blue, but we're just gonna keep on adding dye. Scuffed it up with a little bit more 220 grit just to get the little stubblies off, and I'm gonna go in for a second coat. And I'm not gonna wear gloves this time because I just painted my nails and I don't wanna hook them up. Now it's time for the top bit. Alright, so top bit is stained now, and for this part I'm gonna... So we're gonna be leaving the top bit as natural wood. But we are going to fancy up the Triforce bit by adding some gold to the inside of it, I think. But before we do that, we've got to oil this guy up with some tongue oil. Now the reason I'm using tongue oil is because it's non-toxic, which means that I can drink as much of it as I want. In reality, you can use any other non-toxic finish. I'm using tongue oil specifically because it's the only one that was at Home Depot. But you're probably wondering how I'm going to oil the inside. And I'm literally just going to wrap it up and slosh it around a little bit. And hopefully that'll stop it from leaking out. Enough of it to soak into the inside. Oh, that came out very fast. Okay. Oh my god. Well, we might as well just say fuck it and take this off so that's not stopping anything. And we're gonna also use our hands because we're already in deep. We're oiling this puppy up with human oil. I say first coat is done. Now, I'm just gonna let this sucker sit. So it's finally time to start gilding. As you can see, the holes are now colored in black as well. I did that off camera because it wasn't too fun to watch. Now I've got my gold leaf, my Mod Podge, and paintbrushes. I haven't used this Mod Podge in a long time. The lid is glued shut. I got her cracked. I'm not going to use a lot of Mod Podge in this. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit more and I'll just wipe away the excess. So. I'm back. I got a stiffer brush. Okay, we're gonna redo that. Yo, brother. Okay, oh. Alright. I'm gonna let this all dry and then I'm gonna come back and brush away the excess, do any touch-ups I need to do. We're done after that. So you're actually gonna have to see that in the final reveal?
What is that?
Put thy lips on me. Ah! What the? Ooh, ah, ooh, ouch. TLG just kidding, you totally missed. Now play me.
You know what? I like the cut of your jib. Let's do it.
Neat. You know, man, I'm not trying to be mean, but you kind of sound like shit.
You should have made me smaller if you wanted me to hit high notes. But no, you had to make me accurate to size.
Oh, hey, whoa. Aren't you like an ancient artifact? Why are you so touchy?
Less meta commentary, more blowing.
Alright, dude. Fair. Whew, I lightheaded.
Now you know what you have to do.
Nah, I'm Brody at the start of the video. I want to make an ocarina because I'm a stupid dumbass moron. That's for Navi. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want me to make in another video. For my next one, I'm going to be blacksmithing. Bye. That's me.